Ergonomic Solutions is the go-to operations management consulting firm for small businesses in the Central Virginia area. We want to share our 25 plus years of experience and knowledge with you to help you level up your business and navigate to operational excellence. Subscribe to our free monthly newsletter on our website at origamicSolutions.com. That's ORIGAMIC Solutions.com. And follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook to access business educational content. Take off with Origamic Solutions.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Tim Bazzani. Every time I hear it, I get ready to put the uniform back on. There you go, Origamic Solutions. Welcome back to the program, folks.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, tell people who you are, Tim.
Sure. Origamic Solutions, we're an operations management advisory and consulting firm. Our intention is to help level up your business with a whole lot of love. So we come in and help you build strong infrastructure that's repeatable and scalable.
Scalable is the ticket. Mm-hmm. Let's touch on that. Every business is not scalable, and sometimes people don't want to scale their business. That's right. They just want to run it at the level that they are, and we're good with that. Some people have businesses that are not scalable. Mm-hmm. Tim, sir, I think my business is scalable. You have to deliver the news to me. Mm-hmm. Maybe what you're doing, Mike, isn't scalable.
Yeah, and it's just in its current state may not be scalable, right? You don't have to revamp your entire business just to grow it, but you do need to put the processes and tools in place to then make it scalable. So it's not a tough conversation. It's just a timing conversation. Like, hey, right now, you're not going to hit that goal. But if we do X, Y, and Z, we can get you there.
Right. So you have to have processes in place to get ready to start scaling. That is not something thought of today.
You have to at least envision it. So you have to think about your business if it's going to be 10,000 of whatever you're doing. 10,000 customers, 10,000 units, 10,000 buildings, right? Brick and mortar. When you start to think of that scale, then you start to think about what do I have to do in order to be able to service that many clients, that many customers. So when you have a business that everything is in my head, I'm the owner, I'm the propreneur, I know what I'm doing, but I need to teach somebody else. So Danny was a great example, my son. He's got the car detailing business. Now, he knows what he's doing, but it's not scalable currently because he can only take on so many cars per day because it takes so much time per car. So he has to if he wanted to grow his business, he has to think about, I need to teach other people how to do the job at the same quality level that I expect. And so it was funny because he wants to do real estate when he gets older as part of that's his big thing. He's going to be I'm going to own 500 rental properties. I was like, how are you going to manage 500 rental properties? How are you, he doesn't even know what it takes to manage a rental property yet, but he has a big idea. And so on my
better than having a little idea.
Well, and I told him, on my board, there's a leadership growth development chart in my office. And I said, the operators are the doers. You're the doer right now. You are the one who either washes the cars or buys the rental property, and then you manage that. I said, then you have to learn to manage people, which is inspect what you expect. So you have to learn how to teach them, and then you have to follow up to make sure that performance is meeting your quality standards. And that's the first way that you learn to grow and expand your business is, all right, have I written down all my expectations? Have I given them enough training and enough process details to make it repeatable, make it sustainable, and then I can inspect what I expect. And if you don't get to that level of leadership, your business is not going to grow. You just take it step by step. Then you learn to manage the managers. So then you have leaders and then your business owners. So you have to build up that scale as the business owner yourself, but you have to envision how this is going to work. Put that roadmap together, then you start taking the steps.
So if you're scaling, what's the most important part? Having the business or the infrastructure in place? So if it's Danny, to scale, more businesses coming his way or the hands to do the work to increase our productivity?
So when you have to start turning away work, you need to have more people. But he has to have the mentality that he wants that work and it's worth training that other person. Some people are not good people trainers. And so They don't communicate clearly. They are not patient to, help somebody come through a learning curve. And in that case, or either they don't have a plan. So Tim just helped one of our clients prepare a plan on how to hire properly and then what cadence. And she came back to us, and we also helped her with her mission and her vision clarity, how to communicate that to these new people, and what their organizational chart. He put together a career path for them. He worked with her, 4 weeks, 5 weeks on this, something. And she said, I've never had the quality of people. She's attracting the type of people that she wants because she's prepared. And she's starting to communicate and see the value. They're responding. We've never heard this before, from this type of industry. This is great. They're psyched up. Sometimes you just need outside help to come in because it supplements what your deficits are. You're just not patient enough to do it. Okay, we'll get a trainer. Mm-hmm. There are people that you can tell them, they'll teach other people, so you can get that help to grow and offset that gap that you have, or problem that you have as a person.
So Tim, that's the knowledge transfer that you're always talking about, because it opened up something that she had wanted the better level. She just didn't know how to get it.
Yeah, and a lot of people will have the idea and try and execute it, and sometimes, like Stacey said, you bring in outside help. We can be saying the same thing, right? If you and I go into that conversation, you could deliver the same exact message that I'm going to deliver. I may just tweak the verbiage, and that's the light bulb. And sometimes you just need that other voice, and it just puts it into a better perspective for a specific individual.
There you go. Origami Solutions Tim is here. Stacey, also you guys had a newsletter. It goes out on the 15th, correct?
Newsletter will come out on the 15th.
What was the takeaway in this one this time?
So the big one is our blogs. So our action blog on how to really take these strategic plans and move them into a position that's tactical. Right? And then we can get the ball rolling. So this next upcoming one, we're going to be rolling out the next phase of our impact methodology with our recommended reads, our YouTube repository, as well as some community events that we have going on right now.
We'll be talking about continuous improvement, which is the next.
Because you got to be able to measure it.
Well, you got to continue to build on it and refine it. So iron sharpens iron, right? So you want to continue to refine something. There was a story. If you take a bar of iron and you make a horseshoe, the bar of iron might cost, $50. If you melt it down, you make a horseshoe out of it, you can sell the horseshoe for $200. If you continue to melt it down and you take out of that iron and you put it into a computer chip, you're going to sell that computer chip for $2,000. The refinement and the continual evolution of that one bar of $50 iron can skyrocket in its value. So the continuous process improvement is to continue to refine, add value, find efficiencies, find competitive advantages that you could implement into the way in the insurance company. The competitive advantage may be just the way you run your back office team, not necessarily how you process transactions for a claim or for an insurance policy, but the competitive advantage is how you treat people. So continuing to do that, looking for cost effectiveness, and then also making just better decisions. That's the measurement. That's the collecting the data so that the data tells you what is actually happening versus what your brain is telling you think is happening. So your brain will filter things differently, and your mind, your emotions will clutter things differently.
You're taking the emotional part out of it.
And we start to take the emotion out of the decision making.
So, Stacey, you are a visionary CEO. There are people who think that $50 metal piece is something. Mm-hmm. They really got it right there. They're ready to run with that. They don't have a vision to refine it to something.
What it could do.
It could do. Mm-hmm. So that's a conversation sometime that you have to have with owners, because
that's a fun conversation.
They just see, it's $50 right here. Mm-hmm. You're like, I'm good. Money in the pocket.
Right.
You're saying if you refine it and you do this, it takes it to a whole nother level.
That's true. Yeah. So we're refining and adding education, so putting it out on video, putting it out on paper to help other people so that we reach a broader audience that makes it scalable, because we can only see and talk to so many people per day. I've added my EA, Judy, and so I'm able to delegate certain work so that I can do more and have those those conversations, and level up. And that's what the refinement, the continuous process improvement is about. It's looking at things going, how could I make this a little bit better? How could I make modifications so that I reach those goals of 500 rental houses, or 6,000 clients, or how many events can you do, or videos can you do that help broaden and spread the word out. So those but you can't take it all in one day. It's they say you can't eat the whole pizza, you eat it one slice at a time. So that's where the mentality of continual process improvement comes into.
Origami Solutions, Tim, how can people keep up with you guys?
Sure. On all major social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, under Origami Solutions. Our personal pages, Stacey Briley Goodman, Timothy Pisani, as well as our YouTube channel. So more and more content is being added to that. It's a great repository for not only keeping up with what we're doing, but educational resosources.
Alrighty, so
don't forget our friend Jim Blizzard. He's on
Jim Blizzard.
He's on LinkedIn as well.
Jim Blizzard is going to join us at the Inc. 5000 celebration.
He is.
We're going
to be bringing him in the studio here shortly.
There you go. More the merrier. Okay, weekly, you guys bring up a topic that you want to enlighten us on. What are we talking about today?
Well, we kind of started on it with the continual process improvement. It's just what are the benefits? How do I get there? It is helping you make a plan. You're not going to implement every improvement, but you have to start looking at what the possibilities are, because it can get overwhelming. The more someone, and it could be somebody that you follow virtually, businessmen. There's 3 or 4 of them that start to help me think bigger, or it could be somebody like us that's just coming down and, hey, I had this experience. If you're going to get an EA, you need to prepare ahead of time, to bring that person on, not only to be able to communicate what you might want them to do, but also there's a learning curve, not only for them, but for you as the person, to start shifting things off. I was, learning that over the last month. And with that, having Judy on board, it's the continual processes improvements. I can take her strengths that she has some in marketing, partner her with Tim, and they can work on pieces. And then she has other strengths in the back end administration, so she's able to project manage. But I have to decide to level up enough where I trust her to go through my emails, because my emails are a little bit different now. I don't see every email. It goes, she filters through that based on instructions I've given her. Or either I have to go to a new mailbox folder where I only work this folder instead of all my emails. But that took time to go through the refinement of, how do I communicate this to her, that these people, I need to read that, but I can read it later. This is really important. This is not important.
Okay, ma'am. Now, let's talk about that.
So that's a continual process.
That is scarier than turning over the keys to the car for your kid. When you're sitting on the side,
it is actually. I was much easier giving Christopher the keys.
You're pressing on,
like here.
You're pressing on the floor because there's no break there, ma'am. So you're turning over your emails to someone and said, "Here you go.
Whew. Yeah.
Filter out this, and I'm only going to deal with this part."
Well, she was funny. One of the first days, she accepted a calendar invite, and before I had seen it, and then it came up, and I was just like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Oh." I was not ready to give up my calendar control yet. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to have to take that back, and you work this.
So was it a one-time, did you turn it over, or did you do the
email
the
I
take
had
back?
turned over.
You did, so you did.
We have figured out a system, and I'm open-minded enough to try it. And so I'm having to trust, somebody I just met, and it seems, and it's still like swallowing a watermelon. But we're working through it, and it gets easier and easier every day, because I'm like, okay, I see the consistency. I understand what I'm supposed to do now, because it's a process change. the calendar was a whole different story yet. One day, I was driving down the road yesterday thinking about this because I was listening to one of the guys on YouTube that I follow, and he was talking about the calendar, management. My EA tells me where I go. I was like, am I going to be able to do that? Am I going to be able to go? Judy just said, just go. Okay, Judy said go here. All right, I'm going there.
That's like I haven't trusting GPS
yet. Yeah, so that it's a maturity on my part. It is a process improvement change. It's something that I have heard from a lot of people who are in higher level executive and growing bigger businesses that you need to do.
Yes.
But doing it is a whole different,
You could just imagine. Okay, so maybe a person, Bezos or somebody, Zuckerberg, they're beyond reading every email. Right. There's a whole bunch of people between them. But the idea that you're going to turn over your calendar and it pops up and it says, Mike, you're supposed to be at this place. And I'm looking at this like...
blindly go. Yeah.
Who am I going there? What am I doing?
Well, and that's the whole thing. So then you have to schedule time with your EA. Most of them at least have a startup every day. And here's your itinerary for the day. This is what you're doing. Like, they are managing you as an individual. And as a mom who's managed everybody else,
yes,
it's different. I've never been managed in that way. So I sent out emails to my team today. I'm like, it's the end of the month. I need you to put in your time reports so I can do invoicing. And I get an email from Judy going, I can do that for you going forward. I'm like, yes, I do. And I'm going to let you do that. And she's like, and I can do that in paychecks. I'm like, I'm not going to do that because I'll still control this piece. But I've got some other things for you to do as well. So we're learning. Like, she's telling me what she can do, and I'm learning to feel what I'm able to
All
give.
All right, Mr. Pisani, that's a tough sell. You got to go sell that right there to business owner to say, you know what, in the whole world of processes and orders, there is a world where you could turn over your calendar and, and just be worked like that. And then you were doing CPR. Because the person just passed out. Or they ran out or kicked you out. Because it's just like...
That's not good.
That is a big...
It's a major change. Yeah. And he's the guy to help you figure it out. Because he has the people skills, really. I was able to talk to our client who wants to do it. And I'm like, look, this is my experience. I'm just telling you, you need to plan to prep out. Go watch these YouTube videos of how to work with your EA. You need to educate yourself on what you're going to do before you actually take the action to do it. Mm-hmm.
And that kind of transition, you got to do it in baby steps, right? I'm not just opening up Pandora's box and giving you control to everything. Because at a certain point in your business, right, it's an easy sell value-wise, right? Can I open up your capacity to be more productive, get more things done, drive revenue? Yeah, whatever the case may be. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Do I want you seeing all my emails?
Right.
Do I want you telling me I have an 8:30 meeting? I don't want an 8:30 meeting, right? So I can bring up that to an individual that's making that transition. Just say, hey, let's start with this. I'm gonna free up probably a couple hours a week for you. Does that sound good? Oh yeah, that does sound good.
That sounds good.
All right, perfect. Let's do that for 2 weeks, and then I'll work you through all the ups and downs because you're gonna spiral at some point, and then. Okay, what's phase 2? Now we can open up the calendar.
And that's the conversation similar to what I had with her. So the client we had was like, well, I may go hire one full time, right? And I told her, I said, look, I started with this agency that was recommended to me, and they allow me to go 5 hours, 10 hours, or well, actually it was 10 at the minimum of 10, and then I can work my way up. And I said, well, let me start at 10 because I need to feel it out and see. And then, of course, 3 weeks later, I'm like, I'm going to need to bump her to 20 because we had figured out. Mm-hmm. I had figured out how this was going to work and what I could and couldn't, or was ready to give over. And then we were just continuing to, work it out. But that was a nice alternative because it allowed me to take the baby steps. Mm-hmm. A couple of weeks at 10 hours a week. What is that? How much can we do? What does that look like? Do I have enough cash revenue to, do this? So we highly recommend the baby steps. And there's a great agency that we work with that if people are looking for EAs, they did a very good job for us.
Origami Solutions, we're talking baby steps. We're talking, swallowing a watermelon. Yeah, that's one of those big ones right there.
It's a big one.
That is a big one. You better come with the knife and fork because to turn over. There's something that's private about your email. I mean, the good and the bad and the ugly is there.
Right.
But you can be more
and even
productive.
sharing, like some of the systems we learned, I had to change the tools I use because they didn't support sharing. And I was like, she's like, well, I can't see it. I'm like, I was very happy to give her my to-do list, but I couldn't give her my to-do list. So now I have to change where my to-do list resides. So I have to be willing to make a big, adjustment to something I gotten comfortable.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's why they are Origami Solutions right there, because
we're here to help those transitions.
That is
a little easier.
That one is the toughest conversation we done had.
It was an interesting life experience. I would highly recommend for companies that want to grow to go through it, but you have to be ready for it. You have to prepare yourself for it. It is not something to jump in automatically with.
There you go. That is Stacy Goodman.
Are you ready to push the boundaries and take your company to the next level? I'm Stacy Goodman, founder of Origamic Solutions, and we're here to be your co-pilot, navigating you to operational excellence and helping you level up with love. Connect with us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and at our website, origamicsolutions.com. That's ORIGAMIC solutions.com. Together, we will find solutions and prepare you to soar.
Ladies and gentlemen, Origami Solutions, they'll help you soar. They'll help you level up with love. They're not in the tough love business, but, they can help you take some of the steps and give you the easiest way to do it. All righty, folks, take care. Thanks. Now, bye.
Thank you.